Electricity is one of, if not the most lethal, dangerous instrumentality that is out there that people can encounter. Power lines, both overhead and underground, they are extremely dangerous because they are almost always lethal. One of two things is going to happen if you come into contact with an overhead power line or underground power line. You're either going to die or you're going to suffer severe catastrophic injuries. What caused all that actually happened long before that person ever arrived there that day. There are very strict codes and regulations governing the installation of overhead and underground power lines. If it's an overhead power line, it has to be installed and maintained at a safe minimum distance away from a building or structure. That's called horizontal clearance in terms of how far the line is from the building itself off to the side. But then there's also a concept called vertical clearance, where an overhead power line has to be a minimum safe distance above the roof line. When a person or even an experienced construction worker looks at an overhead power line, they have no idea how close or how far away that power line should be from the building itself. And especially if you're a construction worker or a roofer, somebody is in the process of doing a job, it's very easy to lose sight of where those power lines are located. That is why these regulations have to be strictly followed, because if you install a line or maintain a line that is too close to a building and structure, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when someone's going to die. Unlike an overhead power line, which is there for everyone to see, underground power lines are obviously below the ground and nobody knows where they're located. The power company or utility is just as responsible for an unsafe or improperly installed underground power line. There are also safety codes that very strictly require where underground power lines are supposed to be located. And the power companies, utilities do a better job of notifying the public to call before you dig. There are circumstances that even when that is done, the power company doesn't properly inform the person or the company that's going to be doing the digging, or they fail to properly de-energize or isolate the circuit that's going to be worked on. When you look around a neighborhood or a city, there are so many lines now that have been installed and are running off of telephone poles and that are running off of buildings. I don't think that the general public has necessarily a good understanding of exactly when a line is down, whether or not it's a live or energized power line. And that's a problem. Any line that is down should be treated as a live or energized power line. Two situations or circumstances where someone may encounter a fallen power line. Often cars knock down telephone poles, and if a telephone pole is knocked down and you're involved in that accident, stay in your car. Your car has 4 rubber wheels and you are safe there. The moment you exit your vehicle, you may come into contact with something that is in contact with that power line, and that can obviously result in a catastrophic death or injury. Same advice goes for anybody that may see a down power line in their yard or from their house. Do not go outside, don't go near it. You may think that I'm 100 feet away and I'm safe, but you may be close to something that is in contact with the power line that may be conducting that electricity that you may inadvertently touch. So just stay in your house, call the power company, call the utility company, and let them deal with that. So if someone is injured or a family member is killed due to an inadvertent contact with a power line, whether it be overhead or underground or a fallen power line, the first thing to do is to look at the utility company in terms of the installation of that line. They have such a massive amount of lines and circuits and poles that they have to maintain that they may recognize that there is a line that is unsafe, but it may take them years to get there. And honestly, they're just basically keeping their fingers crossed that nothing happens from the moment they recognize that it's unsafe to the moment that they're able to replace it. You need an attorney, or you need to speak to somebody that understands the regulations that govern the installation and maintenance of overhead and underground power lines, because that's where the inquiry, that's where the investigation needs to start.